Be ready. Start. There is no doubt that in the present case there is no eyewitness. It is a case based upon circumstantial evidence. In case of circumstantial evidence, the onus lies upon the prosecution to prove the complete chain of events which shall undoubtedly point towards the guilt of the accused. Furthermore, in case of circumstantial evidence where the prosecution relies upon an extrajudicial confession, the court has to examine the same with a greater degree of care and caution. It is a settled principle of criminal jurisprudence that extrajudicial confession is a weak piece of evidence. Whenever the court, upon due appreciation of the entire prosecution evidence, intends to base a conviction on an extrajudicial confession, it must ensure that the same inspires confidence and is corroborated by other prosecution evidence. If, however, the extrajudicial confession suffers from material discrepancies or inherent improbabilities and does not appear to be cogent as per the prosecution version, it may be difficult for the court to base a conviction on such a confession. In such circumstances, the court would be fully justified in ruling such evidence out of consideration. It has already been stated by this court that an extrajudicial confession, by its very nature, is rather a weak type of evidence and requires appreciation with a great deal of care and caution. Where an extrajudicial confession is surrounded by suspicious circumstances, its credibility becomes doubtful and it loses its importance. It is well settled that it is a rule of caution where the court would generally look for an independent, reliable corroboration before placing any reliance upon such extrajudicial confession. While explaining the dimensions of the principles governing the admissibility and evidentiary value of an extrajudicial confession, this court, in the case of State of Rajasthan versus Rajaram 2003 8 SCC 180, stated the principle that an extrajudicial confession, if voluntary and true and made in a fit state of mind, can be relied upon by the court. The confession will have to be proved like any other fact. The value of evidence as to confession, like any other evidence, depends upon the veracity of the witness to whom it has been made. The court further expressed the view that such a confession can be relied upon and conviction can be founded thereon if the evidence about the confession comes from the mouth of witnesses who appear to be unbiased, not even remotely inimical to the accused, and in respect of whom nothing is brought out which may tend to indicate that he may have a motive of attributing an untruthful statement to the accused. Confession ordinarily is admissible in evidence. It is a relevant fact. It can be acted upon. Confession may, under certain circumstances and subject to law laid down by the superior judiciary from time to time, form the basis for conviction. It is, however, trite that for the said purpose the court has to satisfy itself in regard to 1. Voluntariness of the confession, 2. Truthfulness of the confession, 3. Corroboration. A detailed confession which would otherwise be within the spatial knowledge of the accused may itself be not sufficient to raise a presumption that confession is a truthful one. Main features of a confession are required to be verified. If it is not done, No conviction can be based only on the sole basis thereof. There is no absolute rule that an extrajudicial confession can never be the basis of a conviction, although ordinarily an extrajudicial confession should be corroborated by some other material. It appears, therefore, that the appellant had retracted his confession. When an extrajudicial confession is retracted by an accused, there is no inflexible rule that the court must invariably accept the retraction. But at the same time, it is unsafe for the court to rely on the retracted confession unless the court, on a consideration of the entire evidence, comes to a definite conclusion that the retracted confession is true. Extrajudicial confession must be established to be true and made voluntarily and in a fit state of mind. The words of the witnesses must be clear, unambiguous, and should clearly convey that the accused is the perpetrator of the crime. The extrajudicial confession can be accepted and can be the basis of conviction if it passes the test of credibility. The extrajudicial confession should inspire confidence, and the court should find out whether there are other cogent circumstances on record to support it. Upon a proper analysis of the above referred judgments of this court, it will be appropriate to state the principles which would make an extrajudicial confession an admissible piece of evidence capable of forming the basis of conviction of an accused. Thank you.